You know, when you see an overdose in the movies, it's always this huge, dramatic, violent event. But the truth? It's way quieter. It's insidious. And honestly, it's deeply deceptive. We're going to break down what's actually happening inside the body during an opioid overdose, minute by silent minute.
This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of it. An overdose isn't some sudden, painful shock. It's a lethal seduction. It's a betrayal by your own brain chemistry. So let's get into exactly how this happens second by second.
To really get this, you have to put yourself in the moment. So, picture this. It's the middle of the night.
You're in some place you don't really know. The vibe is off, but honestly, you're probably too deep in to really care anymore.
And then, that's it. The plunger goes down. For about 7 seconds, this incredible warmth just spreads through you. You feel perfect. But what you can't possibly know is that a fatal countdown has just begun.
So what is that feeling? What's happening in your brain? Well, heroin zips across the blood-brain barrier and instantly converts to morphine. This just lights up your brain's opioid receptors, flooding your system with dopamine at levels your natural reward system could never, ever compete with. That's the rush. That's the feeling you were chasing.
But here's the terrifying wild card. That something stronger your dealer might have mentioned, there's a really good chance it was laced with fentanyl. And that, well, that changes absolutely everything.
To really understand the danger here, you have to get the scale of it. Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. The dose you just took wasn't just a little stronger, it's something your brain was in no way prepared to handle.
This analogy just says it all. Your brain was ready for a wave. Instead, it got hit with a tsunami. It's a chemical onslaught that completely, totally overwhelms your system. And to put that danger into perspective, a lethal dose of fentanyl can be as small as 2 milligrams. We're talking about an amount the size of a few grains of salt. It's invisible, it's tasteless, and you have absolutely no idea it's there.
And this is where that clock starts ticking. We're now entering the physiological cascade of the overdose itself, as the body begins to shut down.
This timeline is basically the roadmap for the body's failure. So let's break this down stage by stage. In those first 1 to 3 minutes, the most critical system just starts to go, your breathing. Opioids directly suppress the part of your brainstem that tells you to breathe. Your respiratory rate just plummets, from a normal 16 or so breaths per minute down to 6, then 4. Then, in minutes 3 to 5, the signs of system failure become obvious from the outside. Your lips turn blue as your blood oxygen levels crash from a healthy 98% down into the 70s, then the 60s. Your heart, starved for fuel, starts beating all wrong. Your muscles go completely limp. It's like a puppet whose strings just got cut.
Between minutes 5 and 8, breathing becomes what's called agonal. These awful, gurgling gasps that aren't really pulling in any oxygen. At this stage, your brain cells are literally dying. They're burning through their last energy reserves, like a phone battery at 1%. And the damage happening now is becoming irreversible.
So this brings us to the most crucial and, frankly, the most terrifying point. The huge gap between what you're feeling and what is actually happening. This is the great deception.
Just look at this comparison. From your perspective, that initial warmth just keeps spreading. You feel like you're sinking into the most comfortable bed you've ever felt, but in reality, your body temperature is dropping and your oxygen is cratering. You feel no fear, no pain, but your heart is failing. The drugs have chemically convinced your brain that everything is perfect while they have muted every single one of your body's emergency alarms.
So a lot of people ask about near-death experiences, right? What about that famous light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, the science is pretty stark. It's not a spiritual journey, it's a physiological event. Your visual cortex, starved of oxygen, is starting to seize. It's the final chaotic misfiring of a dying brain.
And then, after the silence, comes the aftermath. A phone call is made to a family that rewrites their entire future in a single sentence. That quiet deception of the overdose becomes a loud, permanent reality for everyone left behind.
After walking through a reality that heavy, it is absolutely critical we talk about lifelines. Harm reduction isn't about passing judgment, it's about providing practical, real-world tools that save lives, period.
There are 4 key steps that can save a life. First, carry Narcan. You might know it as Narcan. It can literally reverse an opioid overdose and buy precious time. Second, never, ever use alone. Third, test your supply. Fentanyl test strips are cheap, and they can tell you if this deadly substance is present. And finally, if you're struggling, please reach out for help.
And here are some specific resources. Never Use Alone is a real service that will stay on the phone with you and send help if you stop responding. Fentanyl test strips are widely available online and through health organizations, and the SAMHSA National Helpline is free, it's confidential, and it's there for you 24/7. These are real, tangible tools.
So, we'll end with this question. Now that you understand the silent, deceptive reality of an opioid overdose, that chasm between feeling safe and actually being in mortal danger, what will you do with this knowledge? The choice, really, is whether to be a bystander or a lifeline.